Ciao a tutti and welcome to Venice Talks, a podcast series about Venice in Italy. My name is Monica Cesarato and I am a Venetian food and travel blogger. I'm going to put my insider knowledge at your disposal to help you discover Venice at 360 degrees. Each week, I will be chatting to the people who really matter, the Venetian. So follow me on the discovery of its artisans, writers, fashion designers, artists, glassmakers, bloggers, and much, much more. Come to visit Venice the right and sustainable way. You can find me on my blog www.monicacesarato.com and also on all social media. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to Venice Talks, episode number 16. Hi everybody, welcome back to Venice Talks. Today I have a special guest. It's Lorenzo Cinotti, the CEO of Venezia Da Vivere, one of the most beautiful companies ever created in Venice. Ciao Lorenzo, how are you?
Ciao, I'm fine. How are you?
Busy as usual, that's life in Venice. So, first of all, let's explain to the people that are listening to us what is Venezia Da Vivere.
All right, so Venezia Da Vivere is a private company that me and Laura Scarpa have been working in for the last 34 years. And
how many, sorry? How many?
34.
Oh, 34. I heard right. 3, 4. Yeah, oh my God, I didn't realize it was so long. Okay.
Yeah, we started out the company when we were 22.
Oh, I thought you were saying like about 10.
Yeah. And yeah, so now Laura is still 22, I'm 56.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh.
All right, so the company, and the company is into projects for Venezia, for Venice, and we also do digital marketing and events, basically. That's what we do. We, as you know very well, we also created the Venice Fashion Week, which is then we can talk about it later.
Oh yeah, of course. I was going to. But what I'm surprised because I didn't realize you had a company for so long. 34 years ago, there wasn't so much digital in the world. So you were born more like what, an event a company or what?
Well, we actually started as a communications company.
Okay.
But we were very involved in fashion. We also had a model agency at the time, which was a department of the company. And we started with fashion only actually in 1988, and then we started developing projects for Venice. Wow. In 91 we organized the Notturno Veneziano, which was a project. It was, I think, 30. It was a summer. It was 39 evenings of culture. We started with Balletto di Toscana in Sama Square with Prada costumes, and then it was dance. It was classical music, starting from classical to contemporary music. We did visual arts also. And this way you had 5 different itineraries in Venice, so you could start from the center and discover the minor Venice. So that was the idea. It was funded by the tourism department at the time,
when there used to be one in Venice. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And then we really got passionate in culture. We also wrote, as you know, we wrote a project on contemporary art, and for which was funded by the European Commission, the old Culture 2000 cause, and that we organized that with UAV University, Ca' Foscari University, but also with the cities of Athens, Krakow, Plovdiv in Bulgaria.
Wow.
What I'm forgetting? Weimar, Bauhaus Universität, and Athens. So and it was a way to work with contemporary artists in order to create in order to create, let's say, connections among residents, students, tourists, and minorities. And it really worked well. It was 3 years long project. So yeah.
Do you think it will be something that maybe in the Venice of 2022 could be reproposed?
Yeah, it could, because our idea at the time was that Venice, Venice is great. I don't think it needs to be saved, but it's nice to have, like some positive, how to say, like ingredients added to the mix.
Of course. That is not just about the monuments and coming to have a look how cute it is, but to work on the social part as well.
Yeah, to make it productive. In fact, like all our recent work with craftsmanship is really meant, to make Venice productive, because we have a very incredibly qualitative craftsmanship, but it's not always connected to contemporary design or what's contemporary today. So that's what we do, like we merge contemporary designers and fashion designers with traditional craft.
So you're trying to be you're trying to be a bit of a bridge between the old and the new.
Because Venetian artisanal, Venetian craftsmanship is really unbeatable. It's very difficult, very you really need to be skilled, and that can be said, I think, for all the Italian craftsmanship. And like if you think all the like successful big companies, like for instance Bottega Veneta, they do this. They really mix the let's say this skilled craftsmanship with contemporary design. That's, I think, that's a very successful recipe for Italy, for made in Italy, and that could be very successful for Venice as well. So we're private, but some friends joke and say that we act like we were Venice Council or a foundation. Because
you are actually. It's true. You do. It's a series of us doing these kind of things that we're doing. Sorry, I shouldn't say this, but what the Comune is not actually doing, that is this side of Venice that should be given visibility, and is not. It is a good part of Venice that is not just about the postcard, pictures of a city, but it's the people of a city. That's why in Venice Talks I always try to talk to artisans and the people that make this. I always say that the people that make the city, not that just live or work in the city. With the arrival of all this digital social medias and the digital world and stuff, obviously you have a company in Venice that you're the most well known for using all the possible outlet between Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, above all Instagram. Okay. Above all you, Lorenzo, you need to follow.
I mean, all the company really.
How important it was the arrival of a digital of this digital side for your company, because you are probably the one in Venice know how to use it in the best way.
Thank you very much. That's very kind. Well, like we were always interested in digital communication, and I remember that back in 2005, we were doing live reportage of the Art Biennale, and we were using Nokia phones with the Symbian operating system, and we were posting photos on WordPress, and that was really a hassle. It was really, and I remember that the phones crashed, the operating system stopped, and it was slow. And then like when Instagram came into the scene, it really solved a problem for us, because and me and Laura are the founding members of Instagrammers Italia, which is
I didn't
an
know
association.
this.
Yeah. It was
Oh,
16 people, and we were two of those 16 people starting out this association, which I'm sure you know, it's
of
part of
course.
a world association called Instagrammers, which was funded by Philip Gonzalez, who's a
Mm-hmm.
Spanish digital manager. And so that really solved a lot of things for us. And there isn't anymore really, but at the time there was really a strong community
Mm-hmm.
of people who met and went around to discover places. Now in the USA, that there's still this kind of movement. There are photographers who just meet and go
Mm-hmm.
discover abandoned places, for instance, on natural sites. So that really revolutionized everything, I think.
Mm.
And now of course it has been zooped
Yeah.
out my America. Like it has become like Facebook a bit. So if you want to have visibility, you need to pay more or
Yeah.
less, and like
Mm.
so your organic visibility is not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so it has changed a bit now. They're trying to compete with TikTok, which means it's now
Mm.
more video
Yes.
and a lot of dances and stuff
And
like that.
how
So
how
yeah.
do you how do you how do you see there is a positive side about the use of Instagram for Venice, I think, because of course
Yeah, of
but
course.
there is also a downside because personally I see so many people coming over and that's all they do, taking photos,
Yeah,
selfies,
yeah,
not even
yeah.
photos, proper
Well,
photos, but
first,
selfies,
like,
and not really
yeah,
watching the city.
yeah. If you go to, like, I really chuckle because, well, when you cross like a big bridge, like the Ponte degli Scalzi,
Mm,
close to the train station, or Rialto Bridge, in the past you had people taking photos of the city. Now they take selfies with the city as a background,
I
and
know.
that's kind of striking to see that. But like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's and like, social media, the way I see it, there are tools, so you can use it in a good way or not. So it's up to
Hmm.
you really. But like Venice is really has it has a lot of engagement for Instagrammers. And Instagrammers, when like when you don't have that much engagement, one
Mm,
of the things they say is, let's go to Venice, in
yeah.
order, people who don't live here, in order to get engagement, because of course, and you go to the Aqualta
Hmm.
bookshop, and you go to
Hmm.
the usual corner
Yeah.
to take the usual photo. But like, it's very useful to also inform people about
Mm,
craftsmen, designers,
yes.
bookshops. I don't know, like, there are a lot of very lively or even hidden places, and
Yes.
some, I know some friends say they should keep being hidden so that
Yeah.
they don't get
Yeah.
flooded by tourists.
Yeah.
But if there's something interesting, why not?
Yes.
Because rather than going to Summer Square, Rialto, and that's all you know about Venice, why
Yeah.
not get to
Absolutely.
know it a bit more? So yeah. So
Okay, so let's talk about the Fashion Week. First of all,
yeah.
when did it start? Oh, first, before of when, how did the idea come, and when was the first edition?
So let's give Caesar what Caesar's. Like,
Yeah,
Laura
yeah.
had the idea,
Okay.
and she had the idea, and I said, let's make it our way. So let's make it, peculiar. So
Mm-hmm.
if you compare it to the other fashion weeks all over the world, Venice Fashion Week, despite the name, is very different because
Mm-hmm.
it's heavily focused on fine craftsmanship,
Mm-hmm.
sustainability, and young designers.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do, as I was telling you before, is also we mix, the elements. So we created a capsule collection with the Bevilacqua fabrics, Bevilacqua handmade velvets, and Tiziano Guardini was probably the most known sustainable Italian fashion designer. Then we did the same with him. We created 6 kimonos with 3 tails, the Italian tails on the back of 3. Had like illustrated 3 tails, Italian tails, and 3 Japanese tails for Homo Faber. And then I curated a project with Martina Vidal. They make lace.
In
and
Burano.
in Burano we had Yasmin Santanen, who's a Finnish designer working in Paris. She was in Hermès and Yves Saint Laurent. Then she was also teaching at the St. Martin's University in Paris. And she wanted to do something with she's researching the figure of Luisa Casati as the first independent woman, because she
of course
divorced, and then she thought she abandoned completely the aristocracy, and she thought artists were her own aristocracy. And so what we did is a capsule collection. We took nightgowns, lace nightgowns, and we turned them into day wear. And that was quite challenging, because of course you have no buttons, no zippers, because that's not comfortable at night. And so by using the same, let's say the makers, the same kind of manufacturer, we had capsule collection we presented last March. And so that's our research. We keep working with artisans and with designers, both Italian or local and international, to bring the best of the both worlds. The extreme quality Venetian craftsmanship is incredible. It's like Bevilacqua.
And it's been for
threads.
centuries. It's been for centuries.
It comes from Constantinople. You have this kind of, really complicated. I have a friend who's an historian, and she says it's not luxury, it's magnificence. She says luxury is cereal, like bags that one of the big brands sells you. They say they're exclusive, but we know there are hundreds of thousands. So that's not luxury. She says this is magnificence.
Wow, so that's a beautiful description.
She says never say luxury, because it's not.
But you didn't tell me when the first edition was.
So 2013 was the first edition.
Okay, right. Okay, and it's always in October, right?
We have two editions.
Okay.
One is in we started out with one edition only, and then we added March, which so first of all, the winter edition that just happened is kind of an extended week, because it lasts 10 days.
Okay, it's a week and a bit, fashion week and a bit.
It's and the March edition is usually 4 days.
Okay, but then now you also go the summer edition.
We collaborate with the Excelsior Hotel, which is one historical hotel very close to the cinema festival. And what we did is they have one corridor connecting the main hall to the pool, and there they have shop windows, and we brought the best of a mix of the traditional historical craftsmen and the best of young designers. We organize also. They have this incredible Salone degli Stucchi, this incredible hall, where also the movie with De Niro, Once Upon a Time in America, was shot. And we organize 2-3 fashion weeks, fashion shows during the summer. And this year we also organized meetings with artisans, and for the public to get to know them. But also the news this year, going back to Fashion Week, is that we organized for the first time this exhibition of accessories, which is called Ornaments. And we kind of established ourselves in Casagredo, occupying it, like the big Sala del Portego, which is the salon, the hall, and then the Sala della Musica, and also some rooms.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
In fact, yeah, Martina Vidal Venezia, they were in the Sebastiano Ricci suite.
Okay.
And yeah, they had like a 100 square meters.
Wow.
Because they not only produce fashion, but they also produce, of course, nowadays nobody wants to buy a tablecloth, in lace, because it would cost 40,000 euro, and you would have to wait for 3 years, because nowadays you don't have it. Yeah, because like in the past you had 40 lace makers, now you have 4, 5.
I know. Yeah.
And of course, maybe you don't know, sorry, but each lace maker is specialized in one kind of design, of like a rose, or so they get the best one in doing that part, and then they connect all the parts together. Anyway, what was I saying?
But they had
they
stuff.
Of course, because of that, what they do nowadays is they also produce sorry, they produce tablecloths, they produce sheets,
over furnishing for the home.
Yeah, exactly. And they put lace details in them, and also fashion, also clothing. And so this way, they're really successful. They have Rod Stewart, Clint Eastwood, people in Magic Johnson as their clients. They do everything bespoke, and that's
and it's
very
innovative.
nice.
It's very nice because in the atelier in Burano upstairs they also have a little museum of lace. Did you know? You didn't know? Did you know? Upstairs.
Say that again. Sorry.
They have a little lace museum.
No.
I'll come.
I know them very well.
They have a lace museum that I think is very interesting. Another thing that you've done that I really particularly like is when you do the fashion. I don't know if you do it during the fashion weeks or before or after, whatever. Is you do atelier aperti, so you get the craftsmen to open their shops to the public for a selected number of days and appointments, so people can actually see them work.
Yeah,
correct.
That's correct.
Yep.
That's correct. That's correct. It happens. Yeah, it happens in usually it's a part of the fashion weeks, and it also we organize it also during Home of Faber.
But I think it's a beautiful way for people to understand. I always say this when I take people on my tour, when they say, yeah, but, that thing costs a lot of money. And I always say, look, how long does it take to make something like this? Think of the time, the experience these people have, how many years they've been doing this job, pay for the product as such. And then the material as well, the cost, because many of these places, materials is very expensive as well. But you paying for the time, the experience. You're not paying a machine that's made that thing. You're paying the person. And I think
it's a whole different concept. I completely agree. It's I mean, when you get, like we had the head of communication of Repower, because we were on a electric zero emissions boat on the Grand Canal, an electric boat, and they like these people, managers from Repower, came to with press, and the institutions came to Tessitura Bevilacqua. Then they saw, like there's an ancient loom, and only 20 to 30 centimeters are produced during 8 hours, so 30 centimeters and 60 is the width, and 60 centimeters, and you start to understand what it is. And to load a loom, it takes like months, because it's thousands of threads, and then you start to really, get what it really is and why it doesn't is not cheap, let's say, because it's really a labor of love, and it's an incredible, and then, it's a different approach, because, I think, that's what we try also to, support, this idea that probably you'll buy less things during
your
the
stay,
time your stay in Venice, but these things will last
forever. Yeah.
And probably you will that bag, that baby l'acqua bag, you will pass it on to your daughter or friend, and so that's the idea.
I tell you, I got an example. Just it happened to me right yesterday. I was on the Rialto Bridge. I can't say who it was the shop, because otherwise I will be doing publicity, but let's say he's a very well famous cameo maker on the Rialto Bridge, and I was just chatting with him, and all of a sudden this lady walked through the door, and she said, "Oh, I would like to buy some cameo earrings to match to the same brooch my mom bought from you 30 years ago." I think it was so beautiful that, 30 years later is the same shop. The daughter goes and buy something to match what her mom bought on a trip 30 years before. I thought that was
that's the idea.
Yeah,
really.
Exactly. Another thing I wanted to ask you, you and Laura are very good at sourcing newcomers, new designers, new little companies that start. So the people keep saying, "Oh, Venice is dying," but by looking at what you propose, doesn't seem to me like Venice is dying. It seems to me it's very much alive and kicking when it comes down to designers and
like designers. There's not only fashion, but you have there's a new typography that these guys, there are guys doppio fondo, this new place, and that there are new artisans, new also taverns, new osteria, and there's a move. But the problem is that these people don't think about themselves as connected to each other. So what we do is also that we try to connect them, so they start collaborating, and it becomes a whole scene, and not, because otherwise it's difficult to, to spot that phenomenon as something homogeneous, that you don't find it, you don't really find out about that, because people, and you say, "Oh, Venice, it's always the same," but it's not. There's a lot of new things, there's a lot of production, there's a lot of quality. So that's, we do a lot of pro bono, a lot of free work. Los Atelier Aperti is completely for free. We have no funding for that, and we really literally go around and take around people to discover these places, but we were happy to do that.
Okay, one last thing, and this is personal, about somebody that lives in Venice. I'm not gonna go down the point of Venice is losing 1,000 inhabitants every year, whatever. Let's not talk about that. I want to talk about the nice part. Okay. What are your suggestions as a Venetian who lives there and sees these hordes of people coming down every day in the city? What are, let's say, 3 points, 3 suggestions that you could give to the people listening to visit Venice in a more sustainable way?
All right. So first of all, like what I always say, you don't really need to spend lots of money in order to visit Venice, but you can still have an authentic experience. For instance, if you want to eat, like typical Italian tramezzini, you can go to some, I don't know if I can say places, but if
you can, I can't. You can. I can't.
All right. So I mean,
because otherwise I get called that I'm promoting. But you can, because I'm interviewing you. So you go ahead.
So like, for instance, it's very like Caffè Rosso. It's a kind of an institution for everyone doing the people studying at university. And like Caffè Rosso makes the best tramezzini, in Venice, in my opinion.
Said by a Venetian, says it.
So I really like them. And so that's one place. Then I really like if you want to go to dinner. I really like the carampane very much.
Antiche carampane, yep.
Yeah, antiche carampane I really like. If for lunch, I really also like Trattoria La Madonna, which is close to the Alto. It's a classic place where the waiters still have the white jacket. Like it's still looking like it was in the 50s, even if I wasn't there.
Maybe the waiter are still the same one from the 50s.
Yeah, okay. Who knows? Maybe. So yeah, and then there's a lot of new places that are interesting, but yeah, but like the classic places. If you want a drink in the evening, if you want like the well done Bellini, I go to Caffè L'Avena, for instance.
Yep.
And the Caffè L'Avena are very good because they like they produce also. They have this. You go in the evening, for a spritz or aperitif, and there's food on the bar, and that's part of it, so you don't have to pay for that.
It's very interesting that all the cafes in St. Mark's Square. I mean, I love Florian, I love Quadri, but Caffè L'Avena maybe is the one where the Venetians tends to go to, right?
Yeah, because it's still very, very, it's still very Venetian, and of course, to give you an example, like my dad was working at the General Insurance company, like his office was on the Bacino Orseolo on the gondolas, and Anna Paula, the owner, knows me since I was probably 3, 4.
Okay, right.
So yeah, the director Massimo is a friend. He's very intelligent, and they're great, and so it's a place where you really feel welcome.
And I think also, a lot of tourists don't realize that all those cafes in St. Mark's Squares is true. They're not cheap. Let's not deny that. But if you have a coffee standing up in every single one of them, you will pay like in any other bar in Venice. As long as you stand
more
up
or less.
Counter.
Also the Florian is the same.
Yeah. All of those in St. Mark's Square. So I think it's something that people don't realize, that they think that, oh, I'll never go to Florian, I'll never go to Quadri because it's too expensive. No, guys, if you just go for a coffee standing up, it will be exactly as if you're having, and you're doing it the way the Venetians do it as well. Okay, exactly. So the last thing, what's the next projects that you got coming up with Laura for Venezia Da Vivere?
So what's the latest?
No, the next future projects.
Something coming up. Well, at the moment we're working on March Venice Fashion Week, and other projects I really can't speak about because they're not they're not really not
done yet,
fully thought after and organized. So yeah.
Okay, va bene, then I will have to interview in about a year time then and ask you.
Or 6 months time,
6 months. Okay, that's good. Okay, Lorenzo, it was so nice talking to you. And I'll say here, I wish Laura was here as well, but we know she couldn't make it. So speak to you soon, and give us where people can find you on all social media, please, and website and all social media handles.
All right, so the websites are www.veneziadavivere.com and www.venicefashionweek.com, and on Instagram you can find Venezia Da Vivere, Venice Fashion Week, and my own Instagram account is Celestalis.
But I love it. It's so cool. Everything blue with Lorenzo.
I like blue.
I know, but and it's Venice, blue in Venice, blue and green in Venice is the colors of the city, I got to say. Okay, Lorenzo, thank you so much, and looking forward to the next Fashion Week then. Okay?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you very much, Monica.
Thanks.
Take care.
Ciao,
bye
ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you so much, Lorenzo, for talking to us. You can find Lorenzo and Laura as www.veneziadavivere.com and on all social medias as Venezia Da Vivere. Thank you again for listening. If you want to book a food tour or a cooking experience with me, you can find me on my blog www.monicacesarato.com or at cookingvenice.com, and also on all social medias with the handle at Monica Cesarato and at Cooking Venice. Feel free to leave a comment or write to info@monicacesarato.com for more information about the people featured in the podcast or Venice. Bye bye!